Hello and welcome to this edition of Culture Catch Up. I'm Takumbo Salako and joining me is my colleague David Morricone. David, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you very much and thank you for asking. Today we are going to be talking about television, the small box. There's been some wonders that have been keeping me up all night. What about yourself, David? We're looking at our best of 2025 so far this year. Let's take us down with the top 5 because there aren't just 5 though.
No, there aren't. We've whittled it down to 10. But like we have with music and film, but TV is harder because there's so much. Yeah. On a weekly basis, we are bombarded with new shows, and some great, some not so great. But it just means that keeping track of all these shows is particularly difficult. But we put our heads together and came up with the top 10, and today we'll be talking about the top 5. So, let's start with, as logic dictates, number 5.
Number 5, indeed. So what is number 5 in our charts?
Number 5 is Love on the Spectrum, Season 3 to be precise. Now, the thing is because there are so many high-prestige, big-budget dramas and productions, it's very easy to sometimes forget that there are quote-unquote lighter things out there and more comfort watchers, which are necessary at the moment. And a lot of those are dating shows. So you have The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Love is Blind, The Worst Offender, Too Hot to Handle. But the thing is that while these shows are compulsively binge-worthy, sometimes you kind of feel like you've been plunged in the seventh circle of hell with some really kind of cookie-cutter clones. And what's great is that Love on the Spectrum is the opposite of that. It follows members of the autism community who plunge into the dating scene. And it's a lot more moving and a lot more insightful and certainly more open-hearted and compassionate than the previous dating shows I've mentioned. Now, it does have its issues, and some viewers with autism have written some very insightful pieces about how it can be a little bit problematic. But by and large, the positives really do outweigh the negatives, and that was echoed by the National Council on Severe Autism, who described Love on the Spectrum as a gift from Netflix to the autism community.
Okay, well, let's just take a quick look at that now.
But I was kind of nervous to meet someone new, and then I got used to knowing you. You understand me, remind me to breathe. Being with you is easy, you're just who I need. I know sometimes I'm in my head, but when I'm with you, I'm in the world instead. No one treats me better, we're so good together. Will you be my boyfriend forever?
David, let's talk about number 4 now. The Pit, the medical drama, which sees a return, perhaps to form, of Noah Wyle, last seen for many in ER.
Yes, and he stars and executive produces The Pit, which on the surface does look a lot like ER. But what this does actually rather brilliantly is remove all the hospital kind of show tropes to better document a 15-hour shift of an emergency room in Pittsburgh, and every episode is 1 hour in real time. And there's ODs, accidents, shootings, you name it, they have it. And it is a really exhilarating watch, but also a very exhausting watch. But one thing that The Pit does really well is essentially show the compassion in the face of everyday horror, and also the absolute vital work that first responders do.
Okay, well, let's take a look at that now.
150,000 people die every day in the world. Today you got one of them. And we're gonna get more before the shift is over.
Tier 1 trauma now. More morphine, I'm gonna stop the bleeding.
You learn to accept it, find balance.
You found balance?
David, it's getting closer to the top now. Let's have a look at the top 3. What makes number 3 in our charts?
Number 3 is Severance, Season 2. Now, we had to wait 3 years for the second season to Dan Ericsson's very bleak, very funny workplace mystery. And by and large, the wait was worth it. Season 2 does have its issues, specifically to do with pacing, but it is and remains this really enthralling, often frustrating mystery that sees the return of Adam Scott as Mark S., who is severed in the corporation or cult that essentially deals with innies and outies and these split personas in order to kind of achieve the ideal work-life balance. And like I said, for all of its pitfalls, there's enough kind of Lynchian surrealism there. There's enough humour, there's enough bleakness and dystopia to make this a really, really enthralling puzzle box. One that leads to an absolutely brilliant final episode, which makes you really hope that they don't take another 3 years to give us season 3.
Now, you spoke about love on the spectrum earlier. Now let's talk about sex. Somebody said that before me. Dying for Sex is number 2 on our list. Why?
Well, yeah, Dying for Sex is, it very nearly took the top spot. It's a limited series, 8 episodes on Disney+. And it's based on the real-life experiences of Molly Cohan, who had a podcast called Dying for Sex, and the podcast was released just after her death at age 45. And the show, which is brilliantly written by Liz Merriweather and Kim Rosenstock, is a comedy about terminal cancer. And essentially it follows Molly, who is diagnosed with terminal cancer and who leaves her husband, who is this pompous journalist. We don't know any of those. And essentially goes out in search of the one thing she hasn't had, which is an orgasm. And it's a show about female sexuality, about sexual liberation, about kink, but also about illness and even sexual abuse. And it is such a tricky balancing act to get right, but it achieves it masterfully to the extent that I was crying with laughter at times and also crying with sadness because it doesn't end well for Molly. But the thing is that on the whole, this incredible show, which features Michelle Williams as Molly and also Jenny Slate, is just perfectly acted, but also this ode to living life to the fullest and embracing life's absurdities, and it is remarkable.
My cancer's back. I'm too young. I haven't done anything with my life.
I know it's cheesy, but everybody has a bucket list.
I've never even had an orgasm with another person.
Good. We have something for your list. Orgasm with another person.
David, that takes us neatly to number 1 on our list. Tell us, what is it?
Well, it's the show that has taken the world by storm this year. It's the 4-part Netflix series called Adolescence. Now, you and I have talked about this show before on Euronews Culture. It really has been this phenomenon that has worked as a cultural, social, and even political wake-up call. And, well, for those who haven't seen it, it follows a young 13-year-old, Jamie, who is arrested after the murder of one of his classmates. And this show, which is created by Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham, who also stars as Jamie's father, it serves as this devastating exploration of social media and the manosphere, which are these websites and blogs and forums which promote misogyny and are anti-feminist. And on a technical level, this show is masterful. Every episode is shot in one take, so it is an editing marvel. But the thing is that not only that, formally, not only aesthetically and the acting, it really does serve as this timely reminder that social media is unavoidable, but that there are spheres within social media that need to be explored, that need to be tackled and talked about, especially with regards to the influence that they have on young minds, and especially at a time when knife crime continues to be high in Europe in general. And this show, which also has made political waves because it is now being shown in schools in the UK and now in France, is not only incredibly powerful, but I think it's fair to say a modern masterpiece.
It really is a remarkable show, and also it's put a renewed focus on the work of Stephen Graham. We've seen previously his shows such as Boiling Point, known as The Chef in some regions as well. That technique of filming things in one take as well has been really, really powerful.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a national treasure, and what him and Jack Thorne have done is really something that shouldn't be missed.
Indeed. Well, thank you for rounding up those recommendations, David. You can read more about what we've been talking about, the full list of our recommendations for 2025 this year. David, thank you very much for joining me on that one, and do check out more on Euronews Culture.